Hey there, I am a little bit late. I tried to schedule this for half an hour ago, and I'm here now anyway, so thanks for joining in. I suppose only a few people have ever trickled into these live streams, so I think a few people might come online in the next few minutes. I will be here to answer any questions when people come online. I think I saw someone pop into the chat right now. Sorry I'm late if you were waiting at 12:05 when this was scheduled for. Hey there, anyone who's popping in. If anyone is watching and has a question, pop it in. I'll think about it for a few minutes while hopefully a few other people join in. Hey there, frightened of putting on weight on meds, any advice? That is a really legitimate fear because medication often does have a side effect of changing things with metabolism and changing things like weight gain. And so if you're on meds that have those side effects, it's kind of like you got to weigh the balance. How beneficial are the meds? And also have to consider what can you do in other areas of your life to not have other risk factors for putting on weight if that's what you don't want to have happen. So like, for instance, if a drug makes you put on weight easier, the foods that high fructose corn syrup and stuff like that is a high glycemic, like rush, the sugar stuff. That stuff, the more you eat that, the more likely you would be to put on weight anyway. So if there's that side effect of meds, then it's going to exacerbate it. So like if the meds are helping you be healthy mentally and emotionally, then that effect is good. And watching all the other areas that you can to make sure you can do what you can do to eat as well as you feel you can, to exercise if you can, do those sorts of things. And those sorts of things are associated with weight loss. So hopefully it can all be a balance, because that's what these things are, is our lives in a mix of areas of places and activities and kinds of being that we have, whether it's mental being, emotional being, or physical being. All these beings have to mesh and flow. Hopefully that's a bit of advice for you. If you have another question, feel free to ask. There's no one else asking right now. If you're still watching. I wonder how many people were waiting around at 12:05 when I scheduled this live stream for. You're welcome, Hannah. I think someone might have just joined in. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If anyone's watching, feel free to ask any question you have about schizophrenia, about my experiences or mental health ideas and knowledge, thoughts. I'm interested in your thoughts or questions, so feel free to put them into the chat. Hey there, Iron Fire Horse. Welcome. Nice to see you. Familiar avatar. What is that picture? It's interesting. Is that like a guillotine or something? What is that? Tibetan symbol. Oh, neat. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Hello there. Welcome. If you have any questions, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. I will chat with you and or answer questions. So that's what I'm here for right now. Thank you for following. I appreciate it. I do think I might have seen a comment on one of my videos, maybe, but I forget. But thanks for joining. Hey, Iron Firehorse, what does the Tibetan symbol mean? More than half my life I've known I have schizophrenia. I think it was around 2000 or 2001 that I was on the early internet and I read accounts by people that identified or were expressing ideas about schizophrenia. And at that time, as a teenager in the middle of high school somewhere, I was like, that is me. And I identified with, oh, it seems that I have schizophrenia. And I felt like it was just the most fitting description that I could think of. And mostly that was from the perspective of, like I said, individuals that were writing about it, who identified with it or whatever. It wasn't from doctors. Doctors weren't treating me at that point. I wasn't diagnosed yet, but I identified with what I could access about it. That's one of the reasons I made this channel altogether, was because I felt motivated by people on the internet expressing ideas about the subject and how I felt that helped me understand what was going on before I went to the doctor. And I want to create and recreate knowledge about schizophrenia, so I have this channel. That's what I'm doing here. Something to do with the highest yoga tantra. Interesting. Hello, Anarcho Tack. Hi there. Life as a side effect. Thank you for your comment. I'm happy to produce it and happy to share. I'm glad that you feel that way. That's the top for YouTube content discussing schizophrenia. That's feels honorable. The chasms, cool. Yeah, I definitely relate to being part of a community of individuals and groups that support one another. Hey there, Anarchotech. I don't think it's easy to say at any point that anything is ever, never gonna happen. I think there's always a possibility for change, and if you're not on meds and you end up with more psychosis, it'll be less of a chance to live on your own. But if you do have less and less psychosis, it would seem that you might be able to live on your own. But some people do or can never live on their own. They always need support of some sort. That's possible. It's not an ethical, moral, character flaw, anything like that. It's just a matter of some people need support, and some people have a harder time with their symptoms and with their troubles. And there should be no stigma about needing support, but if you want to live alone, I hope you can. That would be good, because living alone does bring a lot of joys and privacy and comforts and relaxations to a person. I'm happy to live here by myself, and it's a long time coming. I've lived with roommates for years, more than a decade, and not lived alone. So it feels nice to live alone this year. Are the things that I enjoy in psychosis: when you have euphoria, laughing in yourself, talking, feeling enlightened, knowing all the secrets of the world. I can enjoy this, but on the other side, life is a side effect. I guess I have a collection of symptoms that doctors can define as psychosis and schizophrenia, and I have a diagnosis, and there's research, and they have like diagnostic and statistical manual lists of symptoms and criteria for lining up with diagnostic charts. However, over here, I'm also a person. And as a person, I'm integrated. I have like my arms and the center of my body. I'm integrated in many ways. I can like do all sorts of interesting shapes and sounds and all this sorts of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of the description for me that doesn't relate to those symptoms. But what it is about me or my genetics or my social upbringing that made me become an individual that could be diagnosed as schizophrenic, that part of me that is the cause of all those descriptions. Well, some of what caused the description of schizophrenia might cause some beneficial things. So I do enjoy quick linguistic associations. When I'm unwell, they might be word salad, but when I'm well, my linguistic association means I can share ideas with people and communicate to them. And I've gotten feedback from people that they like how I put things. They like how I express things. So that's partly something I've practiced. But I don't think of it as, oh, that good stuff, that's not schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is bad stuff. I don't like that approach to the integrated being that has descriptions that match diagnostic criteria. So, yeah. That's my thoughts about good things, about psychosis. My hair is fabulous. Thank you. Oh, the chasms. That's a nice comment. I find there is no affordable housing. I think my daughter would have been better if she could have just have her own place. Affordable housing is serious. I've had incredible luck with some part-time employment, and I'm also on some support assistance, and I can just barely afford this place now, but I kind of like, it's not that much more expensive than the already expensive housing that's available in this city that I'm in. And with no affordable housing for anyone really, I just had to struggle until I could afford it. And I'm lucky because I do have a lot of support systems in place. It is hard out there. I hope all of you get housing if you want it and need it. It's so important. I don't know. Things seem to be better than they were in the past in some ways, and in other ways, there's like some people falling through cracks that are not getting support, and it's so much to try to tackle. We have to work together, but we're struggling under the immediate threats from lots of directions. I did not create the paintings in the background. Those are my mom's. Stress does definitely make hallucinations and stuff like that so much worse. Wow. It's like I still have stuff going on in my brain, in my mind, but I have some less stress. I have like, I think I have a lot of additional stress because of all the coronavirus stuff. The whole planet is stressed out additionally right now, and I think that created a different flow of anxiety symptoms and different preoccupation symptoms that I have. But in general, my work was able to persist last year because I'm working at home on my computer, and that meant that I was able to persist in income and finally move into this place on my own, and like, so my stress is like managed pretty well. However, there is stress, but I can imagine for others that have even more stress, that don't have a really integral support systems in place, that's going to be really, really troubled and hard to thrive, hard to survive. It's intense. Okay, have a good one, Iron Fire Horse. Thanks for joining. Does anyone have a new question? I see 6 people, it says in the list, watching. Thanks for being here. Do something creative or is it dropping? I make music and I work on audio stuff. Yeah, I like music, so you can find my music by searching for that name, Nerb Eater. Same Nerb. Yeah, painting or drawing or music, those sorts of things are really good for changing over the mind, not being so linguistic and orderly, but being something like that, that's like so abstract, right? Like there's some art that's very wordy and linguistic, but since I'm often so wordy and linguistic on the go, I like instrumental electronic music for the most part, that I create, that I dabble with, when I just over the years, I've actually played more music, just playing music and not recording anything than I spend actually like recording all the time. I'm not like a recording artist. I'm interested in music, but yeah, love the art. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. It's been about 20 minutes here. I think I'm going to wrap it up in a couple minutes here. So thank you for joining, everyone. I'll just read if you have a quick question at the end, fire away. I'll try to answer, but thanks for joining, everyone. I like the sudden surgence of schizophrenia YouTube channel because I remember Zero existing a few years ago in every mental health space. No one talked about it for some reason. It's poorly understood. My channel has existed since 2006, and in between then and now, I've had 4 major hospitalization periods. And through those times, I might have still been, no, wait. Since YouTube, just 3 major hospitalizations. The first one was before YouTube even existed. But since 2006, when I created this channel, I've been in the hospital 3 major periods. And at those times, I might have made a video that was a bit influenced by psychosis and delusion. Some of those videos that are on my feed or on my list have been marked with trigger warning or that sort of thing. But I can imagine it being tricky to have expression in the public sphere of this YouTube space, because if you're really psychotic and really tripping out, that chances are you're going to be triggering and stressful for a whole bunch of others. And maybe public YouTube forums are dangerous both for you and others. That's just a random thought that like I have to consider, that like what I upload is going to reach potentially lots of people. So I have to be careful with that, right? So it's like, I think that's something that like self-expression and expression in the community is something that, like you say, community mental health spaces, no one's talking about it for some reason. I think it is like tricky to express things about mental health because it is so tricky. It's just tricky, yeah. Can you name a few different genres or musicians you listen to? I like hip hop and electronic music mostly. I don't feel like naming any musicians right at the moment, but actually I'll name Zebra Cats. I'll name KRS-One. I'll name Sev Paliza, FK Twigs. Yeah, I'll name those. So there you go. The YouTube algorithm was just hiding you away then. True. Do you have any advice for someone who is completely unmedicated and struggling with some pretty severe symptoms? My advice would be to keep accepting the possibility of advice. Keep accepting the possibility that you are unwell, because if you deny those things, you'll probably get even worse symptoms, I'd say. Acceptance of our issues might lead you to try some meds carefully, see if any work. Some meds might not work. Meds might not work for you in general. I can't determine that. But I can't just say you should medicate. But if you can, maybe that would be good. But just also practicing calm, practicing order in the mind, that can help, I think, because the more rapid fire we are and the less grounded we are, I think obviously our symptoms are going to get more erratic and energetic. And with psychosis, it's often like of energy, right? It's an intense energy flow. There's some people that have a depressive depression with psychotic features, and they might not be rapid fire all the time, but that's what I'm experienced with anyway. So, okay, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm going to head off now. So, peace. One comment, the chasms. I suspect being less depressed and having less fibro pain would lessen the stress that might affect your other symptoms. But anyway, you're welcome. Peace, everyone. Bye.